In 1598, a Chinese playwright completed a love story so powerful that young women who read it wept themselves to death. His name was Tang Xianzu. He had refused to flatter the powerful, had served the poor, and finally resigned from official life and came home. That year, at 48, he sat down and wrote the story that had been living inside him for a lifetime. He called it the Peony Pavilion. It was not a story about the stage. It was a story about what it means to feel something so completely that the world cannot contain it. The story begins with a girl. Her name is Liniang. She is 16 years old. Her father is a governor. She lives in a great mansion, a mansion so large it has its own garden, a garden she has never seen. She has a maid named Xiang, a tutor who reads her the ancient classics, silk robes embroidered by skilled hands, and jade ornaments in her hair. She has everything, except permission to live. The walls of the mansion are very tall, and the rules inside them are very clear. A young woman of good family does not wander. She reads. She embroiders. She waits. For what? No one has told her. One morning, her tutor reads to her from the ancient Book of Odes, the first poem in all of Chinese literature. The ospreys call to each other across the river. Two birds that belong together, calling across the water. She listens, and something stirs inside her that no book has ever named. She is 16 years old. She has never been outside these walls. But she knows, suddenly, with certainty, that somewhere there is someone who is meant to find her. That somewhere spring is happening without her. One spring morning, her maid Xiang leads her into the back garden for the first time. What she sees stops her breath. Peonies in full crimson bloom. Willows trailing in still water. A pavilion half hidden by wisteria. Ancient stones shaped by 1,000 years of rain. It has been here all along, behind the wall of her life, and no one told her. She sings. All this crimson and purple in full bloom, abandoned to crumbling wells and tumbled walls. Fair weather, beautiful scenes. What good are they to heaven? Joy and delight. Whose garden holds them? She falls asleep beneath the Peony Pavilion. And in her dream, he comes. A young scholar, carrying a willow branch. He finds her in the garden, as if he has always known where to look. He speaks to her as if he has always known her name. In the dream, there are no walls. There is no tutor, no father, no Confucian prescription for how a young woman should feel. There's only spring light, a plum tree in blossom, and a man who sees her. His name, she will learn later, is Lu Mei, Lu who dreams of plum blossoms. He was born for this dream. So is she. She wakes. The garden is the same. The pavilion is the same. The peonies are still red. But he is gone. She searches every corner of the garden. She searches the next day and the next. He was never there. He does not exist. What she felt in the dream was more real than anything in her waking life. And she cannot have it. She begins to waste away. She knows she is dying. Before she goes, she does one extraordinary thing. She paints her own portrait, a young woman alone in a room, painting herself, not as she is, fading and pale, but as she was in the dream, alive, beautiful, full of the feeling that is killing her. She dies. In the underworld, the judge of the dead opens the book of fate. He finds her name. He finds the name Lu Mei. The book says, these two are destined. The love she died for was not an illusion. It was a prophecy. The judge grants her permission to wander as a spirit, to wait for the one the book has promised. She waits beneath the plum tree, in the garden she first saw on the morning of her death. 3 years pass. The garden falls quiet. The Du family mansion becomes a Taoist convent. The nuns tend the garden. They do not know that beneath the old plum tree, in a lacquered box sealed with a poem, a young woman's portrait waits. They do not know that a spirit walks among the peonies each night, looking for a face she has only seen in a dream. She waits with the patience of the dead, which is infinite, because the book of fate has promised her. He will come. 3 years pass. A young scholar named Lu Mengmei travels south to take the imperial examinations. He falls ill on the road and is given shelter in an abandoned garden, the garden of the Du family mansion, now a Taoist convent. While wandering the garden, he finds a loose stone beneath the plum tree. Beneath it, a lacquered box. Inside the box, a silk portrait. He unrolls it. A young woman looks back at him. He has never seen this face. He falls in love immediately, completely, with a painting. Each night, she comes. Du Liniang's ghost, in white silk that moves like mist, appears in the scholar's room by candlelight. They speak. They fall in love, the living man and the dead woman, across the boundary that separates their worlds. She tells him her story. He listens. He does not run. In the greatest Chinese tradition of love stories, he asks not whether she is real, but whether what he feels is real. It is. She asks him to find her grave, to open the coffin. She tells him what the book of fate has written, that they belong to each other. He does what no rational man would do. He believes her. Under the full moon, beneath the plum tree, he digs. He opens the coffin. He takes her hand. And in that moment, 3 years of death end. She breathes. She opens her eyes. The pale ghost becomes a living woman. The white silk takes on color. She returns, not to the life she lived before, but to the life the dream promised. But the world is not yet done with them. Du Liniang's father, now a general, cannot accept what he sees. His daughter died 3 years ago. He buried her himself. The woman standing before him cannot be Liniang. He accuses Lu Mengmei of fraud. He has him beaten and arrested. He is a good man, her father. He loves her. But love that cannot recognize miracle is a kind of blindness. It takes heaven itself to convince him. The emperor himself adjudicates. Lu Mengmei has passed the imperial examinations with the highest rank, the status of Zhuangyuan, first scholar in all of China. The emperor hears the case. He reviews the book of fate, the portrait, the testimony. He pronounces the marriage legitimate. What love decreed, heaven confirms. Du Bao, facing the emperor's decree in his living daughter's eyes, finally sees. Liniang is alive. She was always real. The wedding is held in the garden. The same garden where she first saw the peonies. The same pavilion where she fell asleep and dreamed him into existence. The plum tree is in blossom again. Her father stands beside her. No longer a general giving orders, but a father giving his daughter to a man he finally believes in. Lu Mengmei takes her hand, as he once took it in the moonlight beside her grave. This time, she is warm. This time, she will not disappear. She is alive. The cold earth of the grave is behind her. The moonlit garden is still. She looks at her hands, real hands, warm hands, the hands of a living woman. Beside her, Lu Mengmei, the scholar who loved a portrait, who opened a grave, who believed what no one else would believe. She has no words yet. Neither does he. They sit together in the garden as the sky begins to lighten, as the plum tree casts its first shadow of the morning, as the world slowly remembers what it forgot, that she was here all along. That love kept her. Tang Xianzu wrote in his preface, "Emotion has no known origin, yet runs profoundly deep. The living may die for it. The dead may live again through it." 400 years later, Du Liniang still sleeps beneath the Peony Pavilion. The dream still comes. The scholar still finds the portrait beneath the plum tree. The grave still opens under the full moon. The world still cannot explain what it sees. A love so real it broke through death, so true that heaven itself had to agree. The lanterns are still lit. The peonies are still red.